King Arthur Pendragon from Nocturnal, capturing the spirit of Arthurian romance. As I mentioned in an earlier clip, I'll finally be running Pendragon, and to celebrate this historic occasion, I ordered through print on demand through DriveThruRPG the current edition of the Pendragon rules and the Great Pendragon Campaign. I won't be using very much of the Great Pendragon Campaign. I have other things in mind, but it is a great resource. So I thought I would share because they arrived today, and this was very, very quick service. If I'm remembering correctly, I ordered on Friday of last week, and I've received them today, which is Thursday. So we have 1 week for ordering, printing, and mailing. And these were printed in the UK, shipped through Germany, and arrived in Korea this morning. So not bad. So I own the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 5.1 edition of the Pendragon rules. 5.1 is the current edition of the rules. I own 5.1 and 5 as PDF. The others are physical copies. So just for the sake of completeness, I got them. There are some significant differences as you go through the generations, and you can see Pendragon 4th edition right there on my shelf, which is the only one in the core book to include non-knightly characters in any significant way, and it's the only one to include the rules for magic using characters. But the 5th and the 5.1 edition put the focus back where it belongs for an Arthurian knightly role-playing game with the knights. So the Great Pendragon Campaign comes in softcover, and you have the option of hardcover or softcover for the core rules. Of course, I went for hardcover. This is the second time I've gotten a print-on-demand book. The first time was for a game I showed you recently, the top games that no one wants to play kind of thing, or no, that I know wants to play, Brass and Steel. So this was a print-on-demand book. It's excellent. It's in great shape. It's absolutely flat. It's exactly what I would expect walking into a bookstore to get this. And the interior quality is superb, as you can see, right? Or maybe not. But anyway, that's what my first experience with print on demand was like. So I had really no qualms about ordering these books this way. Also, the feedback or the reviews of the print on demand for these books indicate that they are excellent. And as I just mentioned, I was incredibly impressed with the turnaround time between order and the books being in my hands. So there is not really a downside, but there's something that I had to consider. Showing you the paperback of the Great Pendragon Campaign. See, gorgeous softcover book, right? Full color cover, it's black and white interior. There are no options for color interior for this book ever, right? And we can see it's still with the Art House imprint, which was a subsidiary of White Wolf. Now the game, of course, is offered through Nocturnal, which is still remnants of White Wolf, but at least people who used to be White Wolf. All of this tells me that there'll be a new version of this book coming along under Nocturnal's aegis sooner or later. But why I might be a little dissatisfied, maybe it's difficult to see, but the printing of the book is, well, it's waved, right? I'll do another, I'll do photographs of this so that you can see the wave, and I'll insert them into the video, perhaps here. This is the softcover campaign book lying flat on a table. You can see the packing box it was in behind it. This is the hardcover. Quite an impressive curve, wouldn't you say? Looking more closely, we can see the curve is so great that it will even peel back the covering of the cover. But yes, this is a very large book. It's a very heavy book. The print is excellent. Very readable text, excellent side pieces, and great illustrations of characters and other things. Right? No different than anything I would buy off of a shelf. However, the book looks like the tide's coming in, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't have been shipped to me flat unless this is something that happens as a part of a limited print run. So that's something I'm going to investigate. By putting this on my shelf in the I've got too many books on the shelf, the pressure will flatten it out over time. But there you go. Now this condition is exacerbated in the hardcover. All right. So this is the condition that the hardcover is in. There's a distinct curve to the top cover, plus the interior pages have this same wave form to them. Okay. As you can see, the books on my shelf, even though a lot of them get heavy use, they're pristine. I'm one of those guys, right? So this bothers me a little bit. Does it bother me enough to send it back? It doesn't bother me enough to pay for sending it back, discuss whether or not shipping is going to be covered and all of that stuff. The prices on these, this is a massive book. It prints in with the color cover for $50. This is also $50. Yeah, it wasn't worth it to me to send them back. If I were in the same country as the printer, maybe I would, but I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair. You let me know in the comments. Otherwise, totally satisfied. This is a great addition of the game. It doesn't include random generation of mechanics, which is something that I do prefer, particularly in this kind of situation where a lot of the fun of the game is discovering who your knight is going to be as you go through the process of squire up to whatever level of knighthood you achieve. The development and the growth of the character's personality as reflected in the mechanics and the experience of play is a huge part of the game. This version of the game, the 5.1 edition, turns it into purely a point-buy character creation mechanic. And for my campaign, I'm going to sleep on it for a couple of more days, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to fall back to the 4th and 5th edition, or 4th edition random generation of characteristics. But we'll deal with that in a later report. So this is Pendragon. Got the hardcover book in my hands, plus the Great Pendragon Campaign just for the sake of completeness, which I'm going to stuff into my shelf to flatten them out. Thanks for listening.